Ravens fan, it's time to get serious. The situation in Baltimore is about to get ugly, and it's no joke. The team is facing a major challenge, and the main culprit seems to be none other than the head coach, John Harbaugh. He's the leader, the one who sets the pace for the team, but his decisions and mistakes have put the Ravens in tough situations. The question is, will Harbaugh manage to turn this around before things get even worse? This moment could be crucial for the season, and if the team doesn't change their approach, things could get really ugly. Stick with me until the end of this video, because we're going to look at what's behind this situation and what Harbaugh needs to do to avoid an even bigger disaster for the Ravens. Go Ravens! The Ravens are leading a list no one wants to be on. The most undisciplined team in the NFL. With 92 penalties and 763 yards lost, we're giving the opponents a comfortable position while complicating our own chances. These numbers aren't just high. They're completely off the charts for a team aiming for the Super Bowl. To put it in perspective, the second most penalized team has 10 fewer infractions. This shows that penalties are happening more often than they should, and worse at crucial moments in the game. These penalties are draining our offense. When a great play is wiped out by a penalty, it's not just a missed opportunity, it's a blow to the team's morale. Also, we start several drives in difficult positions, needing a lot of yards to advance. Against the Steelers, for example, we lost by 2 points. Now think about this. Without so many yellow flags, would the result have been the same? These are the questions that keep lingering in the back of your mind. To make matters worse, these infractions aren't a new issue. We've been dealing with this problem all season, which raises a red flag. Something needs to change urgently. If we don't fix this, the chances of reaching our big season goals drop significantly. Head coach John Harbaugh knows this and has already admitted that these mistakes start with him. John Harbaugh didn't shy away from the criticism. He knows that the number of penalties is unacceptable and made it clear that it starts with him. According to the coach, it's his responsibility to ensure the players are well-trained, with the technique and discipline necessary to avoid these penalties. He openly stated that he needs to adjust the practices, review the details, and emphasize that committing so many infractions isn't acceptable for a team that wants to compete for the Super Bowl. Harbaugh didn't mince words. This has to stop, and I'm the one who has to make sure it stops. He made it clear that penalties are hurting the team at critical moments and disrupting the offensive rhythm. Harbaugh pointed out that many of these penalties come from technical mistakes and can be corrected with adjustments in practice and more focus on the details. The message is clear. Changes need to happen immediately so the team can reach its full potential and compete at the highest level. The team has the talent, but they can't keep being their own worst enemy. Now, it's a matter of seeing how these changes will reflect on the field, especially since some areas of the team have committed more penalties than others. The offensive line, for example, is one of the areas most affected by infractions, directly harming the offense's performance. And you, fan, do you think Harbaugh will be able to reverse this situation and improve the team's discipline? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss. Part of this problem is directly linked to the offensive line, which has been one of the biggest sources of penalties. When we talk about penalties in the Ravens, the offensive line stands out as the biggest culprit. Players like Patrick McCree, Ronnie Stanley, and Daniel Falale have been responsible for several infractions, particularly holding penalties, which end up hurting the team at key moments. Not only do these give extra yards to the opposing team, but they also destroy the drives, putting the team in long yardage situations when all that's needed is consistency. Every penalty, like a holding call, takes away precious chances to move the ball and put points on the board. The most frustrating thing is that these infractions happen at moments that could be critical, undermining not just the plays but also the team's morale. Lamar Jackson, our quarterback, has already spoken about how these constant penalties put the offense at a disadvantage, making it harder to score. Overcoming these penalties becomes an extra burden in tight games, like against the Steelers, where the team lost by just 2 points. These penalties aren't just numbers. They're decisions that directly impact the team's morale and performance. If the offensive line doesn't improve in this area, the situation could get even worse. Adjustments need to be made, but will the team be able to fix this issue in time? What's even more concerning is that this isn't a recent problem, and if these issues aren't resolved, the Ravens could continue to be a team with lots of potential, but with too many struggles to achieve the success they want. Well, we've passed the halfway point of the video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't liked this video yet. It's really important for YouTube to keep recommending my content to you. And by liking this video, you'll help keep me bringing more content your way. So go ahead, hit the like button. It's free. Thanks, and let's keep going. The Ravens are facing difficulties not only because of the opponents, but also due to their own mistakes. Penalties have been a constant issue, creating tough situations during games and disrupting the team's rhythm. In a tight game like the one against the Steelers, small mistakes can have a huge impact on the final result, and that's exactly what happened. Key plays were wiped out, and the team found themselves at a disadvantage because of it. The team knows they can do better, but these mistakes are getting in the way of their performance. Every penalty puts the team in a more difficult position, forcing them to fight to recover what was lost instead of simply focusing on executing. In the end, penalties are one of the main factors stopping the team from reaching their full potential. These mistakes need to be corrected immediately. The Ravens have enough talent to be one of the best teams in the league, but they need to cut down on these infractions. Discipline is the key to overcoming these obstacles and showing what they're truly capable of, especially in crucial moments. If they can play more controlled, the team could reach new heights this season. Despite all the quality on the team, penalties continue to be one of the biggest obstacles for the Ravens. It's not just the pressure from opponents that's making the season difficult, but also the constant mistakes from the team itself. Penalties, especially at the most important moments, end up negating good plays and putting the team in unfavorable positions. The frequency of these infractions has been an ongoing issue, and it's stopping the Ravens from reaching their true potential. What hurts the Ravens the most is the lack of consistency. Each penalty pushes the team further away from achieving what's necessary. Instead of progressing, the team finds itself going back, creating more difficulties with every mistake. This directly affects the team's confidence and game rhythm, especially in tight moments where every detail counts. Against the Steelers, for example, the errors were decisive in the 2-point loss, showing the real impact of penalties on the team's performance. For the Ravens to become the force that everyone knows they can be, it's essential to get rid of these mistakes. They need to overcome their own struggles, focusing on improving discipline and fixing the errors that keep cropping up. If they can play without these penalties, without sabotaging themselves at key moments, they can become a formidable team again. But for that to happen, the team needs to concentrate on avoiding their own mistakes, since those are what have been holding them back from victories. What we've seen so far is clear. The situation with the Ravens is getting tougher, and John Harbaugh needs to find solutions quickly to stop the team from completely falling apart. Penalties, lack of discipline, and inconsistency have been the main villains, putting the potential of a team that can be much stronger at risk. And you, fan, do you think John Harbaugh will be able to fix these mistakes in time, or will they keep affecting the Ravens' performance? Drop your opinion in the comments, and let's discuss the future of the team. What do you think needs to change? Stay tuned, because if discipline doesn't improve, the road to victory will get even harder.